What's going on, Flexers? So welcome to another episode. I have a beautiful guest with me. We're continuing on our track to starting our businesses and launching our businesses by the end of this season. So I wanted to have a really special guest that can kind of work with you through the thing that is probably the most precious commodity in starting a business and sustaining a business, which is money. So we're going to talk about money this episode. And my beautiful guest today is Miss Patricia Bedford. She is the owner and proprietor of Suga's Cakery. And so I will let her tell you a little bit about her business. So Miss Bedford, would you please indulge us?
All right. So Suga's Cakery is a mobile dessert trailer in Pflugerville, Texas that serves up cupcakes, cookies, banana cobbler, and other classic desserts. So we also specialize in vegan, gluten-free, and keto products.
Oh, dang. And they are at thebomb.com. Like you are in the Austin, Pflugerville, Round Rock area, or if you just are passing through, make sure you stop by there and check her out. I will link all of her information in the video and tag her in the actual tag her on our Facebook page and our Instagram page so you can find her. But yeah, you definitely should check her out. But yeah, so to get started with money, that is something that is, man, that's one of the sides, that's always like the focal point of any business, and especially with entrepreneur stuff, it's money. And that's one of the key things with being an entrepreneur that I've found is that you are always chasing that almighty dollar. That's one of the downsides, you can say a little bit with being an entrepreneur, is that you're always trying to find money. But before we get into business, we have to figure out a way to start it up. So what were some of the tactics, like when you first decided you wanted to start your own business? Like what was the first thing that you did in order to have some capital to start up Suga's Cakery?
Yeah, so my business is about 7 years old, and I've expanded and pivoted a couple of times. So when I first started, I started as a hobby, just doing it kind of family and friends. So, but when I turned it into a business and actually became, got my website, my business cards, a lot of it was bootstrapped, meaning that I actually used my own money, funds, to get it going. So yeah, at the beginning, that was just like that, because I was just doing it part-time. It was a side hustle, side gig at that time. About 4 years later into it, when I decided to expand and scale my business from a home bakery, leave my corporate job, leave my corporate career, and actually, get into a brick and mortar, quote unquote, a food truck, I decided to do a Kickstarter campaign.
Well, before we get into that, talk about leaving your corporate job and deciding to plunge in like full steam ahead. That's a scary thing. You have a lot of people out there that are working jobs that they hate, and then they have the security of having that full-time job and that regular consistent income. And they're at a crossroads where they're like, I can't continue to do both, but I really want to do this. I don't want to do that. So how did you go about making that decision? Like what fueled the decision? What were some of the advantages and even disadvantages of leaving corporate America to, going full steam ahead with your own business?
Yeah, sure. It wasn't like a, it wasn't a quick thing.
Yeah.
One day I just decided I'm just going to quit my job. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But I had maybe for a year or two decided that I wanted to start moving in that direction.
Okay.
What happened was just all of a sudden, because I was actually off from my corporate job at a company here in Austin, which, given the reputation of that company, wasn't anything that was like, out of the ordinary, because that's how they move.
Right.
So it was to be expected at some point because it just happens to everybody. But especially since they had completed a big merger like a few months prior. So it was expected that would happen to some, to people in our team, the whole company. So I guess, like I said, a year or two, I'd already started thinking about it before I got laid off. I was like, I really enjoy this. I want to do it full time. I started making plans. I was like, well, how do I transition to a full time? And then that's when I came up with the idea of getting a food truck, because it was a lower cost expansion option. Instead of getting into maybe a commercial real estate lease with it was a baby into quote unquote brick and mortar. So I'd already started thinking about it and planning it and everything, and thinking, I just didn't know when I was going to do it, because instead you have the comforts of a steady paycheck, benefits. And it's just, I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to start, putting money aside and try to, do that route. You know what I mean? Back to where I have like 6 months savings or year savings or whatever. And then I'll make the leap. And then I also prayed about it, of course.
Yeah.
And I was, I asked God to show me when the best time will be. So I prayed that specific prayer October 2017.
Oh, wow.
After the holidays, those holidays, the holidays came and went. October 2017, went back to work in January of 2018, and that's when I was laid off.
Oh, wow.
Pretty quick answer to a prayer, right?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite quotes or sayings. It says that when you jump out and leap out on faith, two things will happen. Either you'll learn to fly or God will catch you. And so it looked like both happened for you. He caught you and it helped you fly. But it's scary. That's scary. That's a super scary thing to do, is to just kind of be like, man, like it's just me and my business out here. That had to have been scary. It had to have been scary.
Yeah, it was scary at first. I mean, a little bit, but I'm done with corporate politics, bureaucracy, all of that. Just not feeling like getting up in the morning and going to, this job.
Yeah.
I didn't really bat an eye when they told me I was laid off. I was like, oh.
Really?
Okay.
Ordered steps.
Thank you.
You made the decision easy for me. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you made the decision easy for me. I was like, oh, there's the answer. I immediately knew it was the answer. So it wasn't like me crying or breaking down or anything like that. Yeah. It was just kind of like an acceptance thing. Now you do go through a little bit of period of grief, because it is a loss.
Right.
An unexpected loss. So I did go through a period of like, maybe like a day or two. I was just like, I wonder what I did wrong. Or, yourself or something like that.
Right. And
I snapped out of it. It's like,
I got to do something. I got to act. Like, I got to literally act, because, bills are due next month. So I got to figure something out.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just started laying out a massive marketing plan, business plan to go ahead and get the trailer, the food truck.
Okay.
At first I played around with a small brick and mortar, and your plan is always ever evolving. It's not a stagnant document. It's something always changing. So, I played around with different things, but ultimately I landed on a food truck.
Okay. So when you decided you wanted to do the food truck, how did you go about financing it? Did you have investors? What all did you do? Did you rely on savings, or how did you go about really, again, financing, your business?
Sure. I approached investors. I got approached by investors and things like that, but nothing ever really just came of it. So investors are an option sometimes, but you have to really be careful about that, because typically, they want equity in your company and, things of that nature. So
yeah,
be careful about this. Sometimes you can get an investor is willing to loan you money for debt do debt service, as more traditional loan.
right.
You can get an investor in that way.
Okay.
So there's two types of ways that you can get investors. Those different ways. Ultimately I just decided to do a Kickstarter campaign, and Kickstarter is similar to GoFundMe, and I hate to say that because they're two different, totally different apps, platforms, products. Kickstarter is different in that it is specifically for business projects.
Okay.
Business projects off the ground. It's a massive marketing campaign. It's not just putting a link and saying, "Hey, support me." Please give me no. It is, for it to be successful, as in the case with mine, you have to really, have a target, have a goal, have a plan. Because basically, once you set up the site, they're asking you all these questions about your Kickstarter. They want you to tell your story, all of this. And if it's going to be successful, there's a lot of forethought that has to be put into that. So before I launched it, I may have worked on my story, my plan, a good 8 months. Revising, talking to people, revising it again, saying I was going to do it, saying I wasn't going to do it anymore. It wasn't something that I just said, I'm just going to sign up on this site and get some money.
Yeah.
So, and then also, once I finally got to the point where I was ready with my story and I was ready to press the go button, I sought out articles online about what makes a successful Kickstarter campaign. Okay, there's a lot of information out there that talks about how long it should be, how much you should ask for, what your marketing campaign or who you should contact. Because a Kickstarter campaign doesn't start when you post the link. It can start up to about 3 months before. You're prepping your audience and saying, "Hey, I'm going to be doing this project. Can you support me?" And actually, your Kickstarter support can start even before that, because it won't be successful if you don't have some sort of online social media following. If you don't have followers online, it's really hard to make for a social media, because that's what it is, a social media campaign. It's going to be really hard to make the campaign successful if you don't have a following. So, like I said, I was already 4 years into my, at that point, 6 years into my company. And I'm posting my work, building a following, building that trust, and that kind of, just the kind of the trust and the confidence in my following that, I was a consistent business owner, had drive, I had determination, the goal that I set out to achieve, I felt confident that I was going to achieve it or rock with me on it.
Right. So when you say following, are you talking about your personal following, or are you talking about just strictly your business following?
Both. So, you want followers you want to have a Facebook page and a Facebook business page, maybe a YouTube channel, Twitter followers, Instagram followers, people from your church, college, people from your high school,
Yeah.
your ex co-workers or your co-workers, people that know what you're doing.
Okay.
Know what you're doing. And like for me, I have a personal page on Facebook, but it's all, and this goes back to branding and marketing. So I have a personal page on Facebook, but I keep it clean. I sanitize all the time. You know, yeah, I express my personal opinions and I only share those with friends. I also keep public posts about my business on there. What's going on? You know,
right.
People say, "Hey, look at this girl on Facebook. You know, she does great desserts." People come to you and they'll want to see what's up. So I post about my business public, and I keep even the posts about that are for my friends and family, updates about me personally. I still keep those, pretty clean, so that they see me as a business professional.
Right.
And so I have about, personally on my personal Facebook page, I have about 2,000 friends, I guess. And then on my business page, I have about 2,600 followers on my business page on Facebook, and then maybe 1,700 followers on my Instagram. So, like, between all that, that's a following. So,
right. Okay. That's cool. But the stuff that you're saying for Kickstart, it's good. It's good information for that, but it's also good information for just letting your family and friends and followers know that you're in business, because you never know who might be your potential customer or a potential investor. So, guys, if y'all are listening and watching, that's some great advice for you to just do. All those things that Patricia was laying out about preparing for Kickstart could be just things that you can do to just get your business out there, because that is a big part of it. Is people have to know that you're in business. They have to know that you are available to do XYZ thing. If you don't say anything, then how are you going to get customers? Or how is anybody even going to know that you are even looking for an investor or whatever? So definitely,
that you're even moving in that direction. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So after you did all of that and you got your let your followers know, and you started before, when you actually started to get into the meat and potatoes of the Kickstart, what all did that entail?
Yeah, so I actually contacted somebody who I went to high school with. He's a musician named Q Moore. Shout out to Quinn Moore. He had done about 3 successful Kickstarter campaigns. So I contacted him, because I always in business, and in life, go to people who've done it before you sometimes. Due diligence in your own research.
Yeah.
Poignant questions about, targeted questions about how to do it. So I called him up, and he was like, yeah.
So he was more than willing to be helpful.
Yeah.
So I think that's what people are afraid of. A lot of people are scared to ask somebody who's done it before them, because they're afraid, like, they've done it and they've been successful. They don't want to share the information, or they're going to be like, yeah, no, you're my competition. But more often than not, I've found, I don't know, I'm sure you can probably attest to it too, that people are willing to help and actually want to help you. You just have to pick up the phone and call them and ask them,
Yeah. But I say, like in anything in life, or anytime you're asking for help yourself first. And then go to somebody to help fill in the gaps.
Right. Okay.
That's how I approach that situation.
Okay.
And basically what he told me, was, make a list of about, depending upon what your raise is, you make a list between 200 and 500 people that you want to personally connect with. That's a phone call, a text, a Facebook message, or any other kind of DM on social media. So that's what I did. I think I made a list of about 300 to 400 people that I contacted. Literally contacted. It wasn't a mass text. It wasn't a mass email. It was each individual person. It took me about 2 days to catch people online and, you know, catch them at an appropriate time to say, hey, I'm working, you know, it's all about phrasing and, you know, that's what I'm looking for. Phrasing and how you approach people, right? Your approach. So I was like, you know, hey, I'm working on this project for my business. Would you be willing to support? You know? And they're like, sure, tell me more about it. And so I would tell them more about it, and I'd just be like, you know, I'm trying to raise $10,000, and I need 50 people to, you know, or 2 people to donate $50. Would you be able? Would you be willing to be one of those 50 people or 200 people? Yeah, that was my little script. And so that, you know, people, you know, were just like, oh yes, I'm so excited for you, and tell me when, and I specifically scheduled it like 2 weeks in the middle of the month or the week after the second payday, when people usually get paid every 2 weeks. Yeah, because smart. Some people like, well, like, well, I don't have the money now, and I was like, oh no, you don't have to donate until the first of the month. Yeah. So I scheduled it and I did it that way, and I got a lot of great feedback. Oh, that's good. 100%. And if they literally didn't have it, they did offer a way to either share the link or, you know, and or, you know, just support in any way they could. Yeah. I followed up 2 weeks later and just sent a follow-up message, because that's the definition of success, is to follow through. And I just sent a message saying, you know, I thank you for your pledge. Is live. On payday. On payday. And you were successful. So you met, and you said Kickstart is it's an all or nothing type of deal. Right. So with your campaign, you either raise all the money or you don't get anything. So so it puts the onus on you to really promote and market your brand, your product, or your service. Yeah. So, yeah, I ended up raising about altogether $18,000. What was your goal? 10. So that hard work paid off, basically. Yeah. All the texts and phone calls and emails and everything really paid off. And DMs. Yep. Yeah. Because it was mainly DMs, because I was using my social media. But I mean, I did get cash apps and stuff from people who were not online. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good though. But now you are a fully operating business with a clientele and customer base, and oh man, like, you are doing it to death. And how does that feel? It feels great. It feels great. Yeah. Like when the trailer, it's an actual trailer, when the trailer got delivered to the site where it is now, I was just so excited. So really? Yes. It was a very glorious moment. Yeah. Something that I'd worked so hard for. Right. And I was able to achieve it. And that's the most fulfilling thing about being an entrepreneur, is, you know, being able to, you know, set goals for yourself. Right. Being able to achieve them. Yeah, you did it. I'm super proud of you. Patricia is not just my guest, she's my friend and my cousin. So yeah, I am very, very proud of her. I'm super proud of her. And man, you're doing it, girl. You are doing it to death. But the key word that you said several times is hard work. Like, you literally have to put in the work. It's not just anything that's going to fall into your lap. You have to put in the work. You're only going to get out of it what you put in. So yeah. So that hard work paid off, that you made $8,000 more than your original goal. So y'all see,
I mean, like I said before, if you put in the work, I'm telling you, your dream will work for you. You got to put, but you got to put in the work. You really have to put in the work. So yeah, so thank you so much, Patricia, for joining us today and sharing a little bit of your story. I will link all of her information on the video and on social media so you can find her and get your orders in, because you know we got Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'm sure everybody has, every day is somebody's birthday. So yeah, so make sure y'all hit her up for all of your sweet treat needs, because she is that girl in Austin. So, but again, do you have any last words you want to leave the Flexers with before we sign off?
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank you, Suga, for having me on today.
Oh, no problem.
Yes, it's been great sharing my story. I to inspire and as many as I can with what I've said today. And I think if you have a plan, a vision, you know what I mean, and you make goals, create goals, which is just your vision with timelines and deadlines yourself, you can achieve anything.
Yeah. Amen, sis. Amen. So but thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and make sure that you check Patricia out at Suga's Cakery, and the website is sugascakery.com, right? Yep. And it's SUGASCAKERY.com. So make sure y'all go check out our website. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you again, Patricia.
You're welcome.
We'll see y'all later. Peace.